1. In the times of COVID-19, all I could do now is reminisce and look back at my stories back in 2018 to 2019, when I was still working part-time in a backpacker's boutique hostel in Singapore, earning as much as I could for keeps and the rest, travel. The good old times. At the hostel that I worked in, we served a good spread of budget breakfast usuals: cereal and milk, toast and jam, 3-in-1 coffee, tea sachets, and 2 raw eggs for the guests for them to chef it out using our portable induction cooking station set up outside the hostel. I don't know why, but my mornings at the hostels are always a period where I deal with the most crap from my guests. Morning brain perhaps, but come on. Annoying guest number 1. Our reception only opens at 7:30 a.m. Hence, guests could opt for an early checkout the night before. But our dear friend right here did not. I got in at 7:15 a.m. to set up the breakfast station and conduct my pre-work room checks, etc. And this friend had the audacity to cut my routine up into bits and pieces, haggled me like mad, and told me that he is urgently rushing for a flight out in an hour's time. I got into a state of anxiety because the way he was really anxious and hasty, and also I was struggling with insomnia at the time, so I slept less than 3 hours. He never paused in his statements, and hence I decided to help him, as I knew how it felt to be rushing for a flight. He never thanked me at all, and got out of the hostel, but leaving his luggage at my reception. 15 minutes later, this bugger happily strolled in front of my doorsteps with a cup of joe in his hands, observing the breakfast crowd from outside, then proceeded to claim his luggage and walked off without any thanks after another 15 minutes. Talk about escalating insomnia-induced anxiety. Annoying guest number 2. During breakfast hours, we have a tray of eggs at the front desk where I work. Every guest that comes down would grab 2 raw eggs and cook them with our induction cooker outside. I had this 2 different guests on 2 different occasions, standing in front of my tray of eggs, trying to comprehend what the signage, "Raw eggs, 2 eggs per guest," means. It's not that I left them to stand there and comprehend it themselves. I explained to them in slow, simple English. I checked them in the day before, and they could speak and understand English perfectly fine. But the conversation with both of them went like this. "Hello, are they... it says they are raw?" I look at her and nod, and repeat that it's raw eggs and you have to cook them yourself. "Is it hard-boiled?" Okay, where do I cook them?" "Oh, we have an induction cooker outside." "Oh, okay." She walks outside, walks back in. "I cook them outside?" Then the other. "Morning, eggs for you. Please cook them outside, thank you." "Okay, thank you." Takes eggs from me. "They're raw." "Yes, they are." "Raw?" "Yes, the frying pan is outside." "Can I just eat them like that?" Annoying guest number 3. This guest was the kind that you knew the moment they walked in they are trouble. She started off her mornings walking into the common dining area, cooking eggs and talking really loud to herself. Everyone was obviously quite disturbed by her, so you could imagine how loud she was. She was preparing to make her cup of instant coffee. She stared at the packaging and started walking towards me, striking a conversation.
"Excuse me, but do you have filtered coffee or sugarless coffee?"
"Sorry, ma'am, we only have 3-in-1s.
"Oh, that's so tragic. I'm so disappointed."
She started flailing her arms about and dramatizing. "Apologies for that. I will feedback this to my manager, and hopefully we can bring in pure coffee sachets."
"Oh, yes, you totally should. Do you have a sugar-free alternative for caffeine, then? Because I'm diabetic, so I'm avoiding sugar."
"Oh yes, we have black tea packets that are sugarless, and you just need to brew them with hot water."
"Thank you so much. Jesus, I'm saved."
I think to myself, okay. Moments later, she is sitting down with her breakfast and terrorizing some other backpackers with her stories, and they regret talking to her after realizing she is slightly loco and loud. This friend right here started shouting at me across the dining area while sipping her tea.
"Excuse me, do you have sugar for the tea? It's quite bland. I need sugar for this."
At this moment, my sanity got tested. "Bitch, you just said you're diabetic and you don't want sugar. Now you want sugar for your damn tea?" "No, we do not have sugar." girl will be tested by beings up there during breakfast hours. Those moments I swear to myself I will slap a bitch. But I did not. But nonetheless, I thank all these annoying guests for being the way they are so that I could have such an eventful chapter of my life to share with everyone here. 2. On tonight's episode of Adventures of the Night Auditor, we have a positive story for you. It was about an hour into audit tonight when I get a phone call. I give the standard hotel greeting. What can I do for you tonight?
Hey, so, I have a super weird question.
Well, I have a super weird answer.
I like that. So me and my buds are wondering if your lobby is open.
Well, sure, guests can use our lobby 24/7.
Okay. We aren't staying there, like we don't have rooms, but we were wondering if it's okay to play Dungeons and Dragons there.
This isn't the first time I've been asked this before. I'll tell you what, it's super quiet tonight. As long as everyone in your group buys a soda or chips or something out of the market, I'll let you use the lobby until 5.
Really?
Sure, dude, I don't mind. As long as you guys keep it PG-13-ish and don't cause a lot of ruckus, I don't mind if you play here.
Bro, you're awesome. We'll be coming in like 20 minutes, okay?
So the night goes on, and a group of 5 comes into the lobby. All of them in uniform, one of them with a Rubbermaid tote. I greet them, figure it's the group, and tell them they're welcome to use wherever it's most comfortable. They push a couple tables together, pick up about $40 worth of snacks, give me a $5 tip, and go about their game. I'm a nerd, y'all. I've played D&D for about 22 years now, and I love it. I'm naturally listening in on their game while I work. A couple hours in, and it's all going well. They're having a pretty hefty combat when one of them starts getting a little rules lawyery with the dungeon master about a spell. After listening to these guys go back and forth, I approach their table. Hey man, I really hate to be a backseat DM, but your player is right. It does work like insert nerdy banter about saving throws here. I think. I'm not super well versed in 5th edition, but I think that's how it's supposed to go.
Wait, you play D&D?
Yeah, man, I have since the FAC 0 days. That's to hit armor class 0. I love tabletopping. We talk crap and I share some of my old stories, totally derailing their combat. Turns out these guys had only started playing a few months ago, and none of them had ever played D&D before. Really super cool bunch of guys. I let them know if they needed anything else in their game to let me know. If I don't know it, I can probably help them figure it out. They left their game super happy to have a regular spot to play, so now they will meet in the lobby every Tuesday at 12:30, so long as I'm working and they call ahead to make sure it isn't busy. 3. Because COVID has everyone acting more Karen than usual, I decided to share a couple of stories from 2 of my favorite guests. The first is a lady named Mary. She was one of our business travelers and frequently stayed with us Sunday to Thursday, with a rare Friday morning checkout. She worked with a local company on a years-long project, not exactly sure how long. I always looked forward to her coming in. Even when she was tired, exhausted, had a bad day, she was always kind and patient to me and really all staff members. Miss Mary was a kind of regular that you could actually talk to. I got to know her a little and learned about her. Then that fateful day came that she told us that her project was wrapping up, and she would no longer be staying with us. Bummer. Me being me, I decided we were going to send her off with a bang. She happened to be staying with us while we were doing minor upgrades, like special coffee makers in the rooms. In our conversations, I had learned that she absolutely loved one of the K-cups that we now offered. I found it in a local store and grabbed her a box. Then her favorite cookies that she always had trouble finding. For anyone curious, I think it was Reese's Pieces and Chocolate Chips. Then to make sure how much she will be missed, she got a handwritten note highlighting her kindness and joy she brought to us by being an awesome regular. The best part of it was being able to set everything up in her room before she arrived for one of her last stays, and being able to give her a hug. This was 2013, the last time I would see her. My second favorite guest was a family. The parents were in the process of adopting 3 siblings from overseas. I'm not sure who interacted with them first, but they were so impressed we were the only hotel they would stay at while in town. A lot of times on these days, they would have the kids in and out doing different activities, plus whatever legal stuff they might have had to deal with. One morning, I saw them getting ready to take off for the day of adventures outside of the hotel. I caught them on their way out and warned them that if they were well behaved today, there would be a special treat for them when they came back. When they arrived back, I asked them if they had all been good today. Both parents and kids responded with a resounding yes. At this particular property, we had a treasure chest of little knickknacks and novelty toys. They each picked something out, and I thought that was the end of it. A few days later, on their last evening in for this trip, the parents wrote me the sweetest note about how excited the three were all day long, and could not stop talking about it. They also mentioned that they were almost completely finished with all the legal side of things, and were about to make it official. They brought me a bookmark with their home country, and, not gonna lie, I cried. Guests like that are why I do what I do. Yes, there's way too many Karens, but there are still some good souls left. 4. Ladies and gentlemen, guys and girls, furs and scales, tonight for your viewing pleasure, I've amassed several acts for your viewing pleasure. Let us introduce our crew. Act 1, Muscle Flexers. Act 2, Go-Go Luggage Cart Stunt Drivers. Act 3, Hot Tub Drivers. Act 4, The Amazing Conehead. Warning. I warn the audience that drinking or eating while reading this story might constitute a choking hazard. Please refrain from endangering yourself as you enjoy tonight's events. So for Act 1, I'll direct your attention to the indoor pool. These darling young individuals were in the indoor pool, swimming along and jumping from the center of the pool and the sides of the pool. Quite darling despite their younger age, as the indoor pool is only 5 feet deep. We called Jay our amazing building security officer, which by their apparent psychic powers they detected our actions and headed into the elevators from the pool and proceeded to flex at one another, attempting to see who had the biggest muscles. Alas, they were not caught. For Act 2, I'll direct your attention to the main lobby. Our brave, read foolish stunt driver and their brave rider, equally stupid. Their cups hold the magical clear brew that makes one lose their reason, and unfortunately it ain't water. They line up at the starting line, and the light flashes green. They are off into the elevator, racing as fast as they can to the 11th floor. We called security, but alas, Jay, our epic security guard, could not find their whereabouts. For Act 3, I direct you to the splendid high-diving hot tub divers, guaranteed to break their own neck without intervention. This daring duo attempted to break their backflip record from the hot tub into our fantastic pool, which I remind you once more is less than 5 feet deep. Once more, their latent psychic powers must have awakened and allowed them to escape before security was aroused. But what is this? Act 1 has returned to the stage of the outdoor pool area. They are really showing their bravery tonight, folks, diving from the bridge in the center of the outdoor pool into the depths of the frigid water. And once more, they escape capture. Finally, the final act makes their appearance. Ladies and gentlemen, guys and girls, furs and scales, I direct your attention to the front lobby. The amazing Conehead comes up from the basement level carrying a pack of beer. He proceeds to the elevator to the first floor and spies an orange cone that was placed on the ground to caution guests. He remembers that this is his favorite piece of headwear ever. He picks it up to put it on his head, and he is quite dashing. He gets into the elevator and goes up to the 14th floor. He must have seen our hidden dragon there, as when he arrives at his destination, he decides to change his hat into a bullhorn and shout a challenge. Alas, the dragon must have burnt him to a crisp, as our hero was never seen again, aka didn't get caught. Thank you for watching, listening to tonight's show. I hope that you have enjoyed. We ask that you return your seats to the upright positions and exit the theater on the stairs to your right. 5. Here's a double feature for you guys. Part 1. Meeting a tampon face to string. Part 2. Blood on the back door. Part 1. I was an engineer, but played a lot of the security role considering my late shift hours and the hotel being in the heart of Denver. One of my jobs was to do rounds on the property and to make sure there wasn't anything suspicious going on. Over the past few weeks, I had noticed the door was missing a padlock, and after closing it, only to find it open again later that night, we had determined that someone was taking refuge in there. Now this room was only big enough for what its intended purpose was, and that was to house a machine. There was literally maybe 2 inches on either side, and maybe an 8-inch clearing from the ground to the bottom of the machine, so it was puzzling nonetheless. Anywho, it was snowing outside, and about time for me to do my final walk. I had checked everything and was doing the last bit, taking readings for our utilities, when I passed by the stairs that lead up to this room. I decided to check it, and noticed again it was barely cracked open. I opened the door to do a quick scan with my flashlight before closing and latching the door. As I'm walking down the staircase, I hear some shuffling and a light grunt come from the door I had just latched. So I go back up. I crouch down and see the bottoms of some tore-up vans. I don't know how this woman fit under there, but she was there, wedged in nice and tight. I tell her she has to go, and I'm trying to be nice because I get it. She has nowhere to go. It's freezing outside, and snow was plummeting to earth. So I keep my cool and try to be as sincere as possible. The lady gets out and starts talking crazy shit to herself, but kinda at me. After a bit of struggle and a small back and forth, I get kinda irritated and tell her to fuck off. This woman stops screaming, turns and looks at me as she slammed her hand inside her crotch, and proceeded to pull out a used tampon and threw it at my face. She ended up nailing me in the side of the face and neck. I am in ruins. Part 2. I hit the med area and cleaned myself up, absolutely disgusted and defeated by some cotton. With the plans to get tested ASAP, I'm good, running rampant in my head. Now, I only lived a few blocks from work, so naturally I'm on call as well, considering everyone else was over an hour away. Got off at 11 and received a call from the very flustered front desk at about 2 a.m. I can't make out what they're saying, over everyone being out of breath and crying, so I threw on some clothes and made the trek to work. As I get there, the 2 overnight ladies are inconsolable. I mean, really freaked out. Everybody was rushing around and talking incredibly fast asunder their breath. The only kind of sign I got was one of the dudes that showed up narrowed his eyes on me and pointed towards our south exit. I head that way and noticed some high beams shining through our double sets of doors, which was odd. And I can slightly make out a silhouette of something moving outside the doors. As I get closer, I notice red streaks down the door slightly glistening in the light of these high beams. It was a younger gentleman, and he was losing a lot of blood really fast. My first instinct was to check and see if he was okay, but I was quickly stopped by my supervisor that had shown up. He explained whoever got him might still be nearby looking to finish the job, and with that, he told me I had to wait for the police to arrive. Turns out dude tried to rob his drug dealer, and got a nice bowie knife to his neck, chest, thighs, and abdomen. He took off in the car as he was being attacked and sped down to find the nearest help. I don't know what became of him. But the next morning, me and another engineer were tasked with removing the residual chunks of this guy that the police had missed. It was fucking gnarly. Hey everybody, Hellfreezer here, and thank you very much for listening to Coahw, episode 72. And thank you very much to everybody who allowed me to use their stories in this video. If you enjoyed the video, then please do like and subscribe, and if you feel so inclined, a comment is also appreciated. It's all very helpful in service of helping the algorithm realize that you like my videos. More likes and comments means more Hellfreezer videos, which is good for me and it's good for you if you like them. Okay. Where am I? Oh yes, I have a little birthday shout out to do. Let's see. This shout out is a belated birthday shout out, but it was sent in as a belated shout out. I haven't been careless, I promise. I'll give the information I've been given because I'm assuming it's alright to say it. This shout out goes to Lisa, and Lisa turned 50 on August the 14th. A very happy birthday to you, Lisa. And even though it is late, And that should break the birthday shout-out singing rules, even if it's late, but I'll make an exception to you and anyone else who sends in a late one, so I guess it's not really a rule then, is it? Anyway, I'm going to sing Happy Birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Lisa. Happy birthday to you. All right then, I think we'll wrap things up on that note. And I'm going to head off, do lots of editing, because I'm now at the end of just over an 8.5 hour recording stream. I think that's the longest stream I've ever done. But you know what? When I have it in me and if I have the stories, why not? I've enjoyed it. People have come in, they seem to have enjoyed it. So why not? It means I get my work done earlier, and we'll have a good time while I'm doing it. Okay, and with that, I'm going to head off for now. So until next time, thank you very much for listening, and take very good care of yourselves.